The Council of Supremacy. The massive viewing chamber of Galactic Council Station Omega-7 stretched out like a metallic cathedral in the void of space. Commander Elena Vasquez stood alone at the human delegation table, her dark uniform a stark contrast to the elaborate ceremonial garments worn by the other species representatives. The circular chamber could hold representatives from over 300 worlds, but today only the most important voices mattered. The 5 supreme species had called this emergency session, and Elena knew exactly why she was here. Above them, the station's transparent dome revealed the star field beyond, but Elena's attention focused on the 5 towering figures arranged in a semicircle before her. Each represented a species that had dominated galactic politics for over 2 millennia. Today they would decide humanity's fate. Admiral Thextar of the Catherian Empire spoke first. His species stood nearly 3 meters tall, with crystalline skin that refracted light into rainbow patterns. When he moved, his body chimed like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. The Catherians had perfected energy manipulation technology that could turn stars into weapons. Their ships moved through space by bending reality itself around them. Commander Vasquez. Thextar's voice resonated through the chamber like music played on glass instruments. Your species has requested full membership in the Galactic Council. This is unprecedented. No species has ever been granted such status without proving their worth through the ancient trials. Elena kept her expression neutral. She had studied the records. The trials were meant to be impossible for younger civilizations. They were designed to maintain the current power structure, ensuring that only the 5 supreme species could make decisions for the galaxy. Supreme Overlord Cassandra of the Void Hunters materialized next to Thextar. Her species could phase between dimensions at will, making them nearly impossible to fight in conventional warfare. She appeared as a tall, shadowy figure wrapped in what looked like living darkness. When she spoke, her voice seemed to come from multiple directions at once. Humans are scavengers, Cassandra declared, her form shifting like smoke. Your technology is borrowed, stolen, or reverse-engineered from artifacts you find. You have no original innovations. Your ships are slow, your weapons primitive, your tactics predictable. Why should we grant council seats to a species that contributes nothing? Elena felt her jaw tighten, but she remained silent. Let them talk. Let them underestimate humanity. That had always been their mistake. Hierophant Zulthax of the Mind Collective added his thoughts to the discussion. His species had evolved beyond individual consciousness, existing as a networked intelligence that spanned multiple bodies. When one of their kind spoke, it was the voice of billions of minds thinking as one. The Hierophant's physical form was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and eyes that glowed with inner light. Our collective analysis indicates that humans lack the mental capacity for true galactic governance, Zulthax announced. Your species still thinks as individuals rather than as a unified consciousness. You cannot comprehend the complexities of managing thousands of worlds. You are too primitive for this responsibility. General Skarmoth of the Iron Dominion slammed a massive fist on his podium, causing the metal to ring like a bell. His species had replaced most of their biological bodies with mechanical parts over the centuries. They stood 4 meters tall and looked like walking tanks made of black steel and glowing energy conduits. The Iron Dominion built war machines the size of moons and could strip mine entire solar systems in weeks. Humans are weak, Skarmoth announced, his voice amplified by mechanical speakers built into his throat. Your bodies are fragile flesh. Your lifespans are brief. Your manufacturing capabilities are laughable. Our automated factories produce more starships in a single day than your entire species has built in its history. You cannot contribute to galactic defense. Finally, Sage Velthari of the Cosmic Architects spoke. Her species had unlocked the secrets of space-time manipulation. They could create artificial pocket universes, fold space to connect distant points instantly, and even reverse time in small areas. Velthari appeared humanoid but translucent, as if she existed partially in another dimension. The mathematical probability of human success in the trials approaches 0, she said, her voice carrying the weight of calculated certainty. Our species has run the calculations through quantum prediction matrices spanning all possible timelines. In 99.97% of all probable futures, humanity fails completely. In the remaining scenarios, you achieve minimal success before inevitable defeat. Elena had listened to enough. She stepped forward, her military boots clicking against the polished floor of the chamber. The sound echoed in the vast space, and all 5 Supreme Species representatives turned their attention to her. "Thank you for your assessments," Elena said, her voice steady and clear. "I understand that you believe my species is inferior in every possible way. You've made that quite clear. However, I still formally request that humanity be allowed to attempt the trials." Thextar's crystalline form chimed with what Elena recognized as amusement. "You would subject your species to certain humiliation? The trials are not games, Commander. They are tests of survival against the galaxy's most dangerous challenges. Many species have been completely destroyed attempting them." Elena smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. "With respect, Admiral, humanity has been surviving dangerous challenges since we first learned to make fire. We're still here despite everything the universe has thrown at us. I think we can handle whatever trials you have in mind." Cassandra's shadowy form flickered with interest. "Your confidence is either admirable or foolish. Very well. If humanity insists on this course, we will grant you the opportunity to fail spectacularly. The trials will commence in 72 standard hours at the Proving Grounds in the Nexus system. The Proving Grounds were legendary throughout the galaxy. They consisted of a massive artificial environment built inside a hollowed-out gas giant. The space contained asteroid fields, artificial gravity wells, energy storms, and various other hazards designed to test every aspect of a civilization's capabilities. Elena nodded. "We accept. What are the specific parameters of the trials?" Zulthax's collective mind provided the answer. 3 stages. First, technological demonstration. Each species must display their most advanced capabilities in combat simulation. Second, strategic thinking. Complex tactical scenarios requiring adaptation and innovation. Third, pure survival. Your forces must endure conditions that would destroy lesser civilizations. "And if we succeed?" Elena asked. Skarmoth's mechanical laughter sounded like grinding gears. "Success is impossible. But hypothetically, success would grant humanity equal status in the Galactic Council with full voting rights and territorial protections. Your species would be recognized as the galaxy's 6th supreme power." Elena kept her expression serious, but inside she felt a spark of excitement. This was exactly what humanity needed, not just membership in the Council, but recognition as equals to the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. "We'll need to bring our own ships for the trials, I assume." Velthari nodded, her translucent form shimmering. "Of course. Each species demonstrates using their own technology. You may bring whatever vessels you believe represent humanity's peak achievements." Elena smiled again. "Excellent. We have just the ship in mind." After the formal session ended, Elena walked through the station's corridors toward her private communication suite. The station was a marvel of cooperative engineering, with architecture that accommodated dozens of different species' needs. Gravity fields, atmosphere zones, and environmental controls shifted seamlessly as she moved through different sections. Once inside her secure communication room, Elena activated the quantum transmission array and waited for the connection to establish. After several moments, the face of Admiral Sarah Chen appeared on the holographic display. Admiral Chen commanded Earth's most classified military projects from a hidden base in the outer solar system. "Elena," Admiral Chen said, her voice carrying across the light years without delay. "I've been monitoring your transmission logs. The Supreme Species are really going to let us attempt the trials?" "They are," Elena confirmed. "They're so convinced we'll fail that they're treating it as entertainment. Sarah, please tell me that Project Defiance is ready." Admiral Chen's expression became serious. "Captain Marcus Chen has been running final tests for the past 6 months. The ship is ready, but Elena, you have to understand what we're asking Marcus to do. He'll be facing the most advanced military technology in the galaxy, with a single vessel." Elena nodded. "I know, but if anyone can pull this off, it's him. Marcus has been preparing for this his entire career. The ship itself is everything we hoped it would be," Admiral Chen continued. "But the Supreme Species don't know what they're really testing. They think they're measuring our technology against theirs. They don't realize they're about to encounter something completely different." Elena felt a surge of confidence. "Different how?" Admiral Chen smiled. "They've each perfected one approach to galactic power. Energy manipulation, dimensional phasing, collective consciousness, mechanical augmentation, space-time control. They're all specialists. Humanity took a different path. We learned from all of them," Elena said, understanding dawning in her voice. Exactly. Project Defiance isn't just human technology. It's a synthesis of everything we've observed, studied, and adapted from every species we've encountered. The Supreme Species are about to discover that humanity's greatest strength isn't our individual innovations. It's our ability to learn, adapt, and combine different approaches into something new. Elena looked out through the communication room's small viewport at the stars beyond. In 72 hours, one of those points of light would witness either humanity's greatest triumph or most spectacular failure. Send word to Captain Chen, Elena said finally. Tell him the galaxy is about to learn what happens when you underestimate the species that turned the entire universe into their classroom. Admiral Chen nodded. Already done. The Defiance is en route to the Nexus system. Elena, one more thing. Make sure you have a good view of the trials. I have a feeling the Supreme Species are about to get the education of their lives. The transmission ended, leaving Elena alone with her thoughts. Through the viewport she could see other ships docking with the station. Word of the trials had spread quickly, and representatives from across the galaxy were arriving to witness what everyone expected to be humanity's humiliation. Elena smiled. They had no idea what was coming. The shattered illusion captain Marcus Chen stood on the bridge of the UESS Defiance, watching the massive structure of the proving grounds grow larger on his view screen. The artificial environment was truly impressive, even by galactic standards. What had once been a gas giant now served as the ultimate testing ground for species seeking to prove their worth to the galaxy's ruling powers. The Defiance itself was not particularly large compared to the massive dreadnoughts favored by most galactic civilizations. At 800 meters in length, it appeared almost modest next to the kilometer-long warships of the Supreme Species. But appearances, Marcus knew, could be extremely deceiving. Captain, reported Lieutenant Sarah Park from the sensor station, I'm reading 5 Supreme Species vessels holding position at the observation point. Each one appears to be their latest generation flagship. Marcus nodded, studying the tactical display. Admiral Thextar commanded the Catherian battlecruiser Cosmic Resonance, a ship that looked like a living crystal formation, with energy conduits running through its transparent hull. General Skarmoth piloted the Iron Dominion dreadnought Inevitable Victory, a massive mechanical fortress bristling with automated weapon systems. Supreme Overlord Cassandra's vessel, the Shadow Between, existed partially in normal space and partially in an alternate dimension, making it nearly impossible to target with conventional weapons. Hierophant Zulthax controlled the Mind Collective ship Unity of Purpose, which wasn't so much a single vessel, as it was a cluster of smaller ships linked together by psychic energy fields. Sage Velthari commanded the Cosmic Architect vessel Folded Reality, a ship that seemed to change size and configuration as it manipulated space-time around itself. Incoming. Transmission from the observation platform announced. Communications Officer David Kim put it through, Marcus replied. The holographic display activated, showing all 5 Supreme Species leaders arranged around what appeared to be a luxurious viewing chamber. Commander Elena Vasquez stood behind them, along with representatives from dozens of other species who had come to witness the trials. Admiral Thextar's crystalline form chimed as he spoke. Captain Chen, welcome to the proving grounds. Your vessel is considerably smaller than we expected. Are you certain this represents humanity's peak military achievement? Marcus kept his expression neutral. I'm confident that the Defiance will adequately represent human capabilities, Admiral. General Skarmoth's mechanical laughter filled the communication channel. Adequately, Captain? You're about to face challenges that have destroyed species with technology far more advanced than yours. Your ship appears to be nothing more than refined versions of primitive human designs. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. General, Marcus replied diplomatically. Sage Velthari consulted a device that seemed to exist in several dimensions simultaneously. The mathematical probabilities remain unchanged, Captain. Our calculations show a 0.03% chance of human success. However, we acknowledge your species' right to attempt the trials. Supreme Overlord Cassandra's shadowy form flickered with amusement. The first trial begins now, Captain. You must demonstrate technological superiority by defeating our automated defense systems. These systems incorporate the best defensive technology from all 5 Supreme Species. They have never been defeated. Marcus looked at his crew. Each officer had volunteered for this mission knowing the odds against them. But each also knew something the Supreme Species did not. They knew what the Defiance was truly capable of. Helm, take us into the testing zone, Marcus ordered. All stations prepare for combat operations. The Defiance moved smoothly into the massive artificial environment of the proving grounds. Immediately, the ship's sensors detected the activation of dozens of defensive platforms throughout the testing area. Each platform incorporated different technologies, creating a maze of overlapping defensive fields. Captain, reported Lieutenant Park, I'm reading Catherian energy barriers, Iron Dominion automated turrets, Mind Collective psychic dampening fields, Shadowhunter dimensional phase shifters, and Cosmic Architect spatial distortion generators. They've literally combined all their technologies into one defensive network. Marcus studied the tactical display. Any conventional ship would be torn apart in minutes by this combination of advanced defensive systems. But the Defiance was not a conventional ship. Engineering. Begin adaptive configuration sequence, Marcus commanded. In the observation chamber, the Supreme Species leaders watched with interest as the human ship approached their defensive network. They expected to see another primitive vessel destroyed within moments of engagement. Instead, something unprecedented happened. The Defiance began to change. Sections of the ship's hull shifted and reconfigured themselves. Additional weapon ports opened along the vessel's flanks. Energy conduits rerouted throughout the ship's systems. Most remarkably, the ship's outer hull began to shift between different materials and configurations. What are they doing? Admiral Thextar asked, his crystalline form chiming with confusion. Elena Vasquez smiled. They're adapting. The first defensive platform opened fire with Catherian energy weapons. The beam struck the Defiance's hull, but instead of causing damage, the ship's hull absorbed the energy and converted it into power for its own systems. The sections of hull that absorbed the energy had somehow reconfigured themselves to match Catherian energy absorption technology. General Skarmoth's mechanical systems processed the visual data rapidly. Impossible. They're using our own energy absorption techniques. The Defiance returned fire, but not with the primitive projectile weapons the Supreme Species expected. Instead, the ship launched a barrage of crystalline energy projectiles that struck the Catherian defensive platform and overloaded its systems completely. A second platform activated Iron Dominion automated turrets that fired massive kinetic projectiles at incredible velocities. The Defiance's hull sections shifted again, this time configuring themselves into overlapping armor plates that deflected the projectiles harmlessly into space. The ship's return fire consisted of self-guided mechanical drones that bypassed the platform's defenses and disabled it from within. They're using our targeting systems, Skarmoth observed, his voice carrying a note of respect for the first time. The third platform attempted to use Mind Collective psychic dampening fields to disable the human ship's crew. Instead of affecting the Defiance, the psychic energy was absorbed by specially configured hull sections and redirected back at the platform with increased intensity, overwhelming its psychic defenses. Supreme Overlord Cassandra watched in fascination as the fourth platform tried to use dimensional phase shifting to attack the human ship from an alternate dimension. The Defiance simply phased along with the attack, engaging the platform in dimensional combat and destroying it using Shadowhunter techniques. The final platform activated Cosmic Architect spatial distortion generators, attempting to fold space around the human ship and crush it. Instead, the Defiance used the spatial distortion to teleport behind the platform and destroy it with precisely targeted energy beams. In less than 20 minutes, the human ship had defeated a defensive network that incorporated the best technology from all 5 Supreme Species. The observation chamber fell silent. Sage Velthari was the first to speak. This is impossible. The mathematical probabilities explicitly stated that human technology was inferior to ours in every category. Captain Marcus Chen's voice came through the communication system. With respect, Sage, your calculations were based on incomplete data. You assumed human technology was purely human in origin. Hierophant Zulthax's collective consciousness focused intently on the human ship. Explain. Elena Vasquez stepped forward in the observation chamber. Gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to humanity's greatest achievement. Not any single technology, but our ability to observe, learn, and adapt. The Defiance doesn't use purely human technology. It uses the best technology from every species we've encountered, integrated into a single adaptive platform. Admiral Thextar's form chimed with a sound that might have been admiration. You've been studying our technologies. For decades, Elena confirmed. Every diplomatic meeting, every trade negotiation, every cultural exchange. Humanity has been learning from all of you. The Defiance represents the culmination of that learning process. Captain Chen's voice continued the explanation. Each section of our ship can reconfigure itself to utilize different technological approaches, depending on the situation we're facing. When we encounter Catherian energy weapons, we adapt Catherian defenses. When we face Iron Dominion kinetics, we employ Iron Dominion countermeasures. General Skarmoth processed this information through his mechanical mind. You've created a ship that can match any opponent by adapting their own technologies against them. Not just match, Marcus replied. Improve. Human engineering has taken each of your technologies and made them work together in ways none of you ever considered. The Defiance doesn't just use Catherian energy absorption. It combines it with Iron Dominion power routing, Mind Collective targeting systems, Shadowhunter dimensional manipulation, and Cosmic Architect spatial engineering. Supreme Overlord Cassandra's shadowy form flickered rapidly with what the assembled representatives recognized as excitement. You've synthesized our technologies into something new. Something superior, Elena added. Each of your species perfected one approach to galactic power. Humanity learned from all approaches and created something that surpasses any single specialization. The trials continued for 18 more hours. The Defiance faced strategic scenarios that required rapid adaptation to changing conditions. The ship's ability to reconfigure itself in real time allowed it to solve problems that would have stumped even the Supreme Species' most advanced vessels. During the survival trial, the Defiance endured energy storms that would have destroyed conventional ships by adapting different defensive configurations on the fly. It navigated gravitational anomalies using combined techniques from multiple species. It even survived a simulated supernova by temporarily folding itself into a pocket dimension. When the trials finally ended, the observation chamber remained silent for several long minutes. Sage Velthari spoke first. Our calculations were incorrect. Humanity has achieved something we believed impossible. Admiral Thextar's crystalline form produced a sound like cathedral bells. Captain Chen, your species has earned our respect. The trials are complete. Humanity has succeeded. General Skarmoth's mechanical voice carried genuine admiration. Your adaptive technology represents a breakthrough none of our species achieved individually. You have proven that cooperation and synthesis can surpass even the most advanced specialization. Elena Vasquez felt a surge of pride as she watched the Supreme Species. Leaders acknowledge humanity's achievement. But Captain Chen's voice from the Defiance provided the perfect conclusion to the trials. With respect, honored representatives, Marcus said, humanity didn't come here to prove we're superior to any of your species. We came here to prove we belong among you as equals. The galaxy is vast enough for all of us to contribute our unique strengths. Hierophant Zulthax's collective consciousness resonated with approval. Wisdom beyond your species' age, Captain. The Galactic Council recognizes humanity as the galaxy's sixth supreme species, with all rights and responsibilities that status entails. As the assembled representatives from across the galaxy watched, the supreme species formally welcomed humanity into the highest levels of galactic governance. The trials had ended not with humanity's humiliation, but with the shattering of every preconception about what made a species truly powerful. The galaxy had believed that power came from perfecting a single approach to civilization. Humanity proved that true power came from learning, adapting, and bringing different approaches together into something greater than the sum of its parts. Commander Elena Vasquez looked out at the stars and smiled. Humanity had found its place among them.